System Apocalypse, Death Loop Respawn. Level 1 dropped into a level 50 gauntlet. And the reviewers can't agree if this is the year's best progression sim or 10 hours of one guy stuck on a system menu. Let's find out together with Too Stubborn to Die, the Book 1 First Look. Hey darling Boyce here, welcome back. Here it is my goal to help you find your next book obsession. I'm in my hoodie of the day, I am very cozy, and I'm ready to dive into today's video. Today we're looking at Too Stubborn to Die, Book 1, a LitRPG Apocalypse by B.F. Huups. I think that's how you pronounce it. I'm very sorry if I got it wrong. And Sir Bedivere the Mad. And I'm going to help you figure out if this belongs on your TBR or your absolutely not list. So stay tuned in the video. We're going to get that right at the end. Now this book has readers fighting in the comments, and I'm going to help you figure out which side of that fight you're on before you spend your money. If you're tired of TBR disappointments and AI slop, please hit subscribe. Now, quick housekeeping, this is a first look where I break down reader reactions to help you and I both decide if we want to add this to our TBR. Also, this is my newest seal plush, and I am not going to pretend I'm normal about him because he's so pretty and so cute, and I'm absolutely in love. I named him Basalt because I thought that was funny, and yeah, he's going to hang out with us today. All right, let's dive in. Now, this is an ongoing series. We are at book 1 of 4 in the series so far. LitRPG and progression fantasy. It's sitting at 4.6 stars for more than 1,000 ratings on Amazon, and it runs about 603 pages. So you get a nice long book. Now, there are 3 tropes you absolutely need to know before we dive in. There is a system apocalypse with a botched tutorial, a death loop respawn grind, and an underdog at level 1 dropped into a level 50 gauntlet. So here's the pitch. Aaron is a daredevil. Motorcycles, cave diving, bungee jumping, skydiving, the whole list. The day Earth gets pulled into a system-managed multiverse, he's mid-skydive. The goddess running his tutorial can't give him a peaceful introduction. Aaron goes splat, and he dies instantly. This started as a Royal Road serial that's now hitting Amazon and Audible, and it's getting attention specifically for how it handles the death loop mechanic. Now, there is one structural choice the authors made in book 1 that determines whether you'll love this or DNF it. And it's before chapter 10, so you don't have to wait a really long time to figure that out. I'm going to tell you exactly what it is when we get to what the readers are saying, so stay tuned for that, okay? But here's what's happening. Back to the plot. The goddess takes pity on him and resurrects him, but system restrictions mean there's only one place she can send him, the Shadow Trials. It's a dimension built for the prodigies of each new universe. Aaron is at level 1. The only thing keeping him alive is that inside the trials, he revives every single time he dies. So he does what any stubborn adrenaline junkie would do. He starts abusing that hard and as hard as he possibly can, learning from each death and grinding his way up. What makes this work is that the death loop is not a gimmick. It's the actual progression engine of the whole book, which is really interesting and kind of a unique take on that trope. Now, what works? On the surface, this is a death loop system apocalypse. I've already said that, but underneath, this book is really about stubbornness as the progression mechanic. Aaron's growth isn't from a chosen one bloodline or special inheritance. Every level he earns is paid for in pain, and very often blood. A word that keeps coming up in the positive reviews is fun. Really, really fun. And readers keep saying things like, this is great fun from start to finish. I didn't expect to enjoy this as much as I did. And that's a tell. This is comfort food LitRPG done well. And that's a category that's harder to nail than people really give it credit for. The death loop mechanic is the actual progression engine, and the authors commit to it. They don't time skip the loops. They don't write 34 loops later, he won. They actually walk you through the failed attempts, the lessons, the mistakes. One Royal Road reviewer put it pretty well, I think. They said that the time skips actually make you feel the time pass, and you take the journey with the character instead of being told about it. Now, from the reviews and from an initial scan of the book, the prose seems very clean. The action is grounded. Aaron has a kickboxing and MMA background, so the fight scenes carry real physical weight. The skill system is designed without being bloated, and the banter between Aaron and his system assistant, a character named Douglas, is what keeps this book from feeling absent or meandering. So if you're someone who picks up LitRPG specifically for the system mechanics, the skill picks, the level curves, the die and learn cycle, I think this is going to deliver for you in spades. Now, real quick on the romance, there isn't any. The authors explicitly market this as a no harem, and book one reads completely clean of romance subplots. There's not a fade to black, there's not a slow burn, it's just not on the menu, and they're very upfront about it. So if you've been burned by harem creep in your LitRPG, this is a clean alternative. If you wanted a romance arc, this isn't your book. So if you're already adding this to your TBR, I want to know what really captured you. So go ahead and let me know in the comments. I really love picking your brain, and that's why I just love having conversations in the comments. So pop down there real quick and let me know what you think. Okay, now let's talk about one thing that I promised I would get to in the beginning of this video. The single biggest divide between readers comes down to one structural choice. For almost the entire book one, Aaron is alone. He's by himself in the Shadow Trials. The only character with him is Douglas, the system assistant, who functionally reads as an NPC, as far as I can tell. There is no ensemble cast, there is no found family, there are no parallel POVs, there's no one back on Earth getting a B-plot. It's one human in one contained dimension, grinding through trials and dying repeatedly. For a book that runs this long, it's 18 hours in audio, that can be make or break for a lot of people. One Royal Road reviewer said the main character hadn't even left the same area in almost 90 chapters, and they were still completely hooked. Now, the criticisms describe it as 10 hours of one guy who, by no action of his own, gets screwed over and forced into a situation they have to painfully and slowly watch him claw out of. They call the whole thing a magic system description from beginning to end. From what I can tell, that's a bit of an exaggeration, but that is something to consider if you like ensemble casts. Now, here's the surprise that the marketing doesn't tell you. The apocalypse framing is real, but Earth itself is mostly off-page in book one. The Amazon listing pitches this to fans of Primal Hunter, Defiance of the Fall, and Stubborn Skill Grinder in a Time Loop. So two of those three are sweeping, globe-spanning, ensemble-driven apocalypse books, right? This book is the opposite. So it's a contained, solo, single-dimension story. The LitRPG Apocalypse tagline is technically accurate, but can, to some readers, sound functionally misleading. So what would have helped going in? The book treats Aaron's repeated deaths as gameplay, not as trauma. A lot of reviewers said he doesn't psychologically deteriorate from dying horribly over and over. But according to the authors, that is a deliberate choice. It keeps the tone lighter, more focused on his stubbornness, less grim. Aaron shrugs the deaths off. That works for some readers and it breaks the immersion for others. Now here's the make or break, and there's no pretty way to dress this up. If you can tolerate or actively enjoy one character alone, except for kind of an NPC-ish sidekick, grinding through a single contained dimension while the wider apocalypse is mostly off-page, you're gonna love this book. If that structure sounds like a slog, regardless of how well it's written, you might want to skip it. I think it's really that simple. Okay, so what I really want to know is which side you're on. Are you team meticulous progression sim or team this solo grind sounds like a slog? I really want to know where you land on this because the divide on this one is really fascinating. Before I give you the verdict, there is one more thing you need to know about this book, and it matters specifically because of what I just told you. The structure that defines book one, the solo MC, contained setting, it does not stay the same across the series. Book 2 brings in a full cast. Book 3 puts Aaron on the actual apocalyptic world with planetary stakes. I'm going to go more into that with the series overview that's going to that's going to launch next week. So stay tuned for that if you want more of a spoiler-free look at the series as a whole so far, because it is still ongoing. But I wanted you to know that high-level fact before you dive into book one. All right, here's the bottom line. Who's going to love this and who should skip it? First, know what you're getting into. This is a focused progression. The pacing is deliberate. The action sequences are tight. Everything between them is methodical in a video game-esque way. Methodical leveling, methodical learning. It's not a relentless page turner, and it's not a literary slow burn. It's a grind honoring progression book that asks you to trust the loop. That's the point. Now, I think you're going to love this if you treat LitRPG system mechanics as the purpose, not the price you pay for the plot. You will love this if you specifically loved the stubborn skill grinder in a time loop. That is the most accurate comp I think I can give you. You'll love this if you're a Royal Road veteran who is comfortable with stub pacing and you don't need every chapter to push the plot forward. But remember, it is still fun, so that's not necessarily a bad thing. You'll love this if you want a male MC lit RPG with no harem and no romance subplot to navigate. And I think you will love this if your favorite parts of Primal Hunter were Zach alone in his cabin learning his class, because this is essentially that experience extended to a full book. Okay, who should skip this? Skip this if you're expecting the Defiance of the Fall full experience. The listing does use, like I said, Defiance as a comp, but remember that series is ensemble driven and globe spanning. This is the opposite. If that is something you go in expecting, you will feel kind of a bait and switch, and I just don't want you to feel that. Skip this if you are not okay with book one basically being a tutorial arc. The plot resolution, according to some of the critical readers, can feel small scale by design. And skip this if you wanted the apocalypse on Earth front and center. Earth, again, is mostly off page for book one. The action is in the Shadow Trials. And skip this if you specifically want a meditation on a psychological toll of repeated death, because the book treats death as gameplay, and that tonal call is final. So bottom line, this is for death loop fans, system grind fans, and stubborn skill grinder fans. If that's you, grab it. If you're picking it up for the apocalypse spectacle, save your credit and pick something else on Audible. Now, all of the links are in the description box below. They might be affiliate links, so I do get a small commission if you buy something, and that helps keep the channel running. Book one is available on Kindle, in KU, in paperback, and Audible, with an 18-hour audiobook narrated by Glenn Lloyd and Aria Jacobs. So have you read this book already? Which camp did you land in? Team Meticulous Progression? Or did you bounce on the solo grind? I want to know. Drop it in the comments. I read them all. And if this video helped you decide, please hit subscribe. I post new book breakdowns every week. And give this a like if you're adding it to your TBR, or if I just saved you from a bad decision. Thank you for being here, especially to the end of the video. I appreciate you so much, and I hope you have a very happy reading session with this book. I will talk to you in the next one.